This ghetto thug, Dijonai Carrington on your screen, she cannot play another WNBA game ever again. This ghetto thug you see on your screen, Dijonai Carrington, posted white privilege and tagged the Indiana Fever after she got ejected after raking Sophie Cunningham across the head. When you can literally injure yourself and get injured in multiple ways, Dijonai Carrington raked Sophie Cunningham across the head. It got reviewed by the officials. They ended up and deemed it as a flagrant foul too and ejected her from the game.
Hello and welcome back to WNBA Core. Today, I'm back with another massive and highly interesting WNBA breakdown. An incident unfolded on the court during today's game that instantly grabbed the entire sports world's attention. During the Sky vs Fever matchup, a wild sequence occurred that has fans everywhere debating. So what exactly went down? Without wasting any time, let's jump straight into today's video. First, take a look at this footage, and then we'll break everything down. That sequence was an absolute takeaway for Dijonai Carrington. Here comes Cunningham pushing ahead on the break, she lays it in plus the foul. And now Cunningham confronts Dijonai Carrington face to face. A single possession was all it took to turn an already physical WNBA battle into a massive national controversy. Sophie Cunningham was attacking the rim on a fast break when Dijonai Carrington closed in from behind and delivered high contact. Cunningham went crashing to the floor. Carrington was tossed from the game after officials reviewed the monitor and upgraded the call to a flagrant 2, bringing her night to a swift end. But the drama didn't stop on the court, because once Carrington left for the locker room, she took the narrative in a completely different direction. Things are getting completely wild in the WNBA right now. Hold on, take a walk with me. There is absolute madness going on in the league. Dijonai Carrington literally tweeted out, "White privilege." She posted, "White privilege," straight from the locker room during a live game. Get this, she commits a hard foul on Sophie Cunningham. Cunningham, who is white, gets fouled hard. Carrington gets assessed a flagrant 2, gets ejected, walks back to the locker room, and posts, "White privilege," on social media in the middle of the game. Now, here's the kicker to me, a flagrant 2 requires contact that is excessive and carries injury risk. She posted a message on social media accusing the entire officiating decision of stemming from white privilege. Suddenly, a physical basketball play transformed into a heated debate over race, officiating standards, player discipline, social media behavior, and the surrounding tension around Sophie Cunningham. But this is where the discussion gets really compelling. Was this simply a heated reaction following a frustrating ejection? Was Carrington attempting to highlight a broader issue regarding how players are treated? Or did her social media post make a controversial moment even harder to defend? And what actually transpired between Carrington and Cunningham during that sequence? Let's break down the whole story. Look, Carrington has a reputation for dirty play, some would call her the dirtiest player in the entire league. And then she turns around right after an ejection to claim online that she got tossed because of racism. She learned that strategy well from others. Whenever a call goes against you, just play the race card. Maybe she's just jealous of natural blonde hair she'll never have. I mean, I literally get clotheslined mid-air, and this person turns it into a race issue. Was it just an overly aggressive basketball play? Did the contact clearly cross the line? Could Carrington face extra fines or discipline from the league office? And perhaps the most critical question of all, could this ongoing streak of incidents impact her long-term future in the WNBA? Before jumping to conclusions, there is a critical piece of context you need to keep in mind. Following high-profile physical plays, the WNBA office routinely reviews tape for potential suspensions or fines. Cunningham certainly wasn't going to act like nothing happened on the floor. She popped right up and confronted Carrington before teammates and coaches separated them. But what stood out was Cunningham's attitude afterward. She labeled the hit completely unnecessary, but didn't seem interested in blowing the story up any further than it already was. That matters because in professional sports, tempers flare in seconds. One athlete feels disrespected, another feels singled out, referees make a judgment call, fans take sides, and suddenly everyone is arguing over a 2-second sequence. Cunningham's stance was basically that she wasn't going to let the moment consume everything. Online, however, it became an entirely different storm. These types of reckless plays keep popping up. Remember, this is the same player who poked Caitlin Clark in the eye with long acrylic nails last season. Take a look at this clip going viral of Caitlin Clark getting poked in the eye by Dijonai Carrington. It happened during the first quarter when Clark attempted a pass to Aaliyah Boston, and Carrington poked her in the eye trying to deflect the ball. No foul was called, but Clark needed a moment to recover. Later in the third quarter, Carrington was defending Caitlin again when contact was made, knocking out one of Carrington's contact lenses. Here is the larger point: Dijonai Carrington has been involved in several physical, highly debated moments with marquee stars like Caitlin Clark. Now, this flagrant 2 ejection involving Sophie Cunningham raises fresh questions. A growing segment of WNBA fans is calling for strict disciplinary measures against players who repeatedly engage in dangerous physical plays, arguing it puts the league's stars and overall product at risk. Some analysts are openly calling for a suspension. Will the WNBA front office issue a stern penalty, or will this controversy fade away into the news cycle? After heading to the locker room, Carrington posted "white privilege" and tagged the Indiana Fever. That single post shifted the narrative instantly. People stopped debating the physical contact and started arguing over whether racial bias influenced the refs. We need to pause here because there is a massive distinction between documenting that Carrington made the post versus proving the officials ejected her based on race. The post is a documented fact, the claim about officiating motives is unproven. In fact, Cunningham herself rejected the idea that the call was racially motivated, pointing out that she has been ejected for similar hard fouls in the past and deserved it. That doesn't end every debate about officiating consistency, but it makes the situation far more complex than just claiming the league punished Carrington because Cunningham is white. There is zero evidence supporting that claim. This is important because social media routinely turns speculation into facts before all evidence is presented. Internet commentators split into 2 camps. One side saw Carrington make a dangerous hit, get ejected, and deflect responsibility. The other saw an athlete venting frustration over perceived double standards. Both are interpretations, not verified ground truth. Labeling someone strictly a villain or a victim oversimplifies reality. We don't know Carrington's exact emotional state in that moment. She had just been ejected from a high-visibility game, watched a replay upgrade the call, and walked off to a loud crowd before making an emotional post. Athletes are human, they react, feel frustration, and post things they might phrase differently later. Being emotional doesn't make an accusation automatically correct, but having an unproven claim doesn't mean every underlying emotion was fake. That is the nuance online platforms ignore. Let's address another rumor floating around. You may have seen posts claiming Carrington directly threatened Cunningham online. That is a serious allegation, but based on credible reporting, there is no evidence establishing that any direct threat was made. What is verified is her controversial social media statement following the ejection. Repeating unverified claims as facts turns commentary into misinformation. We stick strictly to verified facts on WNBA Core, and there is more than enough real drama here without inventing anything. There's another reason this story blew up. Sophie Cunningham has become one of the most talked about WNBA players off the court. Recently, Cunningham made public statements regarding transgender athlete policies in women's sports, drawing widespread support, criticism, and even arena protests. So when Carrington's foul occurred, it didn't happen in a vacuum. Audiences already had strong opinions on both players. The same contact in a different context might have sparked a brief sports debate. Instead, it became another chapter in an ongoing cultural argument. That is the reality for professional athletes in 2026. The game doesn't end at the final buzzer. The moment players leave the hardwood, millions of online viewers analyze every frame, slow motion clip, and body language detail. Some defended Carrington, others backed Cunningham, some blamed officials, and others dragged in unrelated past controversies. Once social media picks a side, new details get filtered through that bias. Basketball becomes secondary to narrative wars. Now, was it a dirty foul? Viewers can debate that, but the officials made a clear ruling. After video review, they deemed the high contact from behind excessive and unnecessary, meeting the criteria for a flagrant 2 ejection. Fever coach Stephanie White supported the ejection call while noting she didn't believe Carrington acted with malicious intent. That distinction matters. A player can make a reckless, dangerous play without actively intending to injure someone. Sports move fast, split-second decisions happen, and sometimes overly aggressive choices carry heavy consequences. That's why safety rules exist. If anything follows Carrington longer than the hit itself, it will likely be the social media post. A foul is judged by basketball rules, but accusing officials of racial bias opens a heavy debate that demands proof. Without evidence, people will challenge the statement, which is exactly what happened when Cunningham dismissed the claim and media outlets picked it up. That is the modern athlete's dilemma. You have a massive platform to post instantly, but once published, your words become permanent headlines and talking points. It's also important not to paint Cunningham as an untouchable figure just because she took the hit. She is an intense competitor who has had her own share of physical altercations and controversial moments. Consistency must apply to everyone, not just our favorite players. The standard should always be whether an action violated league rules. The most fascinating part of this story is the environment surrounding the WNBA right now. Visibility is at an all-time high, platforms are massive, and every clash spreads instantly. Players aren't just competing against opponents, they are performing under a global microscope where every whistle becomes a debate and every post becomes national news. That brings huge growth, but also immense responsibility. What happens next with Carrington? The league may review the sequence for further discipline. Regardless of official rulings, the online debate won't disappear quickly because it touches on trust in officiating, rule consistency, and how athletes express grievances publicly. High intensity and physical play belong in professional sports, but clear lines must exist for everyone. The biggest takeaway is simple: you can express frustration or challenge a call without throwing in proven allegations. Once an argument shifts to race or discrimination, the standard of evidence must be high. Dijonai Carrington committed a high foul on Sophie Cunningham, received a flagrant 2 ejection, and posted a controversial, white privilege, message online. While that post sparked massive debate, unverified claims of online threats shouldn't be repeated without proof. Basketball needs passion and debate, but it also requires truth, accountability, and perspective. What do you think? Was Carrington's flagrant 2 ejection completely justified? Was her social media post emotional frustration, or did it make the situation worse? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to WNBA Core for daily basketball updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.